All right, let's face it, the topic of domains can get complicated fast. And when exploring the way they work, we need to have a conversation about DNS settings. This setup controls everything from linking to your website to ensuring those email addresses go through.
And in this course, A Guide to Domains, we have just scratched the surface of the world of domains. For this lesson, DNS basics and using domain for email, we'll dip our toes into the technical side so you don't feel overwhelmed when setting up your domain.
And as discussed in the previous lesson, domains link to your website's IP address, so when people type it in, they'll find your website. Domains can also say a few more things, including what email server is authorized to send email as the domain.
How is the domain saying all of this?
I don't know. I'm wondering. Will you tell me?
Through its DNS records.
Oh.
DNS stands for Domain Name System or Domain Name Server. Think of them like the script an actor is given to repeat lines when prompted.
A web browser says, go to GoDaddy.com. So your computer connects to the DNS server and asks, tell me which server GoDaddy.com is on. Still following?
I think so.
Okay. The DNS server responds, GoDaddy.com is on this IP address, whatever that is.
Yeah.
And your browser then goes to this IP address and asks for GoDaddy.com website.
In simple terms,
okay.
Let's do that. DNS is a series of records with that script of information. There are A records, CNAME records, MX records, and SPF DKIM records. An A record will contain the main website's IP address. This IP address isn't hard to find. It should be inside your hosting account or listed along with instructions from your web hosting company about setting up your domain name.
A CNAME is a record for redirecting one domain name to another. Think of it like an alias. CNAMEs come in handy in many ways, and you could use a CNAME to have the subdomain store.mydomainname.com. Redirect to the URL at your Etsy shop. And then once you build your own e-commerce store, you can change that CNAME to your new GoDaddy hosted store.
MX records are the ones that tell the server where mail should be sent from. Like the hosting server and IP addresses, your email provider will give you the information you need to enter your DNS as MX records. These MX records inside your domain DNS make sure no one is pretending to send emails on your behalf.
Glad somebody's doing it. For example, an email server may send an email saying, hello, I have an email from no one at GoDaddy.com. And the receiving email server says, GoDaddy.com? ? Let me check the DNS records. You do not have permission to send email on behalf of GoDaddy.com. I'm rejecting you.
Mail servers constantly check to ensure that the emails received are from the addresses indicated in the DNS records. Email not being delivered can sometimes be an issue with the MX records.
Now, this is where it can get complicated. MX records aren't the only records helping mail get delivered. Inside your DNS are other records that help protect your emails from spoofing or going to spam. Spam filters are designed to detect illegitimate emails. They use these technologies to filter out spam. SPF, or Sender Policy Framework, DKIM, or Domain Keys Identified Mail, and DMARC, or Domain-Based Message Authentication, Reporting, and Conformance. These all have corresponding DNS records that must be configured.
SPF checks if the IP address sending the email is allowed to send mail on behalf of this domain. DKIM helps put a digital signature in emails to help them pass through and not be sent to spam. DMARC, DMARC, is an email security protocol if SPF and DKIM pass or fail.
And yes, we are still speaking English. Although all of that sounds complicated, getting the information to enter into these records is relatively easy. Your email provider will instruct you on what to enter into your DNS. Just search for SPF and DKIM in the setup instructions. If you use third-party platforms to send emails, like email newsletters, you'll also want to search their instructions on what to add to your DNS so those deliver smoothly as your email address.
If you ever find that your mail has not been received, look at your DNS records. Confirm that your MX records are set up correctly. If your emails frequently go to spam, run through the steps to set up SPF, DKIM, and DMARC records.
In the instance where all the records look good, but the email is still blocked, check to see if your domain name isn't blocklisted. Domains, they get blocklisted if they are considered a source for spam. Visit mxtoolbox.com and enter your domain name. If it is, don't worry. Trust me, there are steps to get it removed.
And that brings up the importance of domain security. Protecting those DNS settings is a top priority. Use strong passwords and two-factor authentication for your accounts. Enable domain privacy through your domain registrar. And beware of phishing emails that attempt to steal your information.
Now that we have a basic understanding of how domain records work with their DNS settings, let's finish this course by setting up your domain up to point to your new website.